Hi, my name is Eninam and welcome to my first video. I actually finished reading the Safekeep last week and I wanted to talk about it. As a warning, there will be spoilers, so do with it what you will. As a quick summary, we follow the main character named Isabel. She is as type A as they come. She leads a very solitary and lonely life. She does not care about other people. She is very suspicious of others. She seems to prefer her life alone. There is this passage that I think describes her philosophy really well. It's on page 55. She was talking about joy and they recall that she had a dog that passed away very young. And she says, what was joy anyways? What was the worth of happiness that left behind a crater thrice the size of its impact? In her day to day, she is very preoccupied and very obsessed with her house. She loves this house. She takes care of the house and the garden. She knows every nooks and cranny of this house. She knows every fork, every plate, every spoon that has existed in that house. For all intents and purposes, the house is her only companion. But that, however, takes a turn when she meets her antithesis, Eva. Eva in the story was introduced as the girlfriend of her brother named Louis. She has to live with Isabel for a couple of weeks because Louis has to go to work. I think the book is about sexuality, about female angst and female lust, but it's also about ownership. What does it mean to take care of something that can be taken away from you? What does it mean to live without fear? And what happens when the object of your desires are basically taken away from you? There is an overarching looming question in the book about who actually owns the house. Is it owned by Isabel, who takes care of this house and cares for this house? Or is it or is it to Louis, who has legal claim to the house but does not seem to actually care about it? That question becomes more complex with the introduction of Eva as her antithesis. From the get-go, Isabel and Eva really hated each other. Isabel hated having another person in the house, but as time passes on, that hatred turned into lust, which eventually turned into love. But I think it was attraction right from the beginning. I think that hatred was love disguised, at least from Isabel's side. Throughout the story, as their love affair begins to unfold, Isabel begins to notice a lot of things going missing, a lot of plates, a lot of forks and whatnot. She begins to keep a list of the thing that went missing, but to her, she thought it was her housemaid instead of Eva. Their love story, however, comes to an end when Isabel skims over Eva's diary and she kicks Eva out of the house. She very poignantly said, "Get out of my house." As Isabel goes through her first heartbreak and her first loss, she decides to actually read Eva's diary. She then realizes that the house was Eva's family house and it did not truly belong to Isabel's family. As an aside, the story was set a couple years after World War II and the Holocaust. The memory and the consequences of the war was still very remembered and felt throughout Europe. The Jewish community who suffered in the war still had to deal with the consequences of that war, and one of those consequences is the loss of their possessions and their property. Along with Isabel, we as the reader begin to get a glimpse of Eva's perspective through her diary, which I think changes the story completely. We begin to think back every time Isabel tries to control the way Eva moves throughout the house, every time she calls the house her house. To me, it felt really heartbreaking to think of Eva watching and observing Isabel as she lived in this house, as she lives the life that Eva could have lived if it were under different circumstances. In the end, Eva was able to get the house under her name, and she eventually reconciled with Eva and begged her to live in the house with her. There is this very significant part that I really loved. On page 257, as Isabel is promising Eva that she can live in the house, that she won't be kicked away again, Eva responds, is that the promise you give me? Is that the guarantee I have? This fleeting thing, this changeable thing. Eva eventually does accept this fleeting promise of Isabel, which I think it's the love and the terror of love, giving your heart and your being to another, knowing the pain it can cause you. However, I think my cynical heart could not truly be in that moment with them. I felt that there was this always present power imbalance. God forbid something happens to Isabel, what will happen if Isabel's family steps in and kick Eva out? Eva is still at the mercy of Isabel and her family. She only has Isabel's love and Isabel's words to live with. Although there were questions that were left unanswered, I truly loved the author's writing style and the specificity of it. My friend described her writing style as very economical. She does not waste time, but is very thorough in the way she describes her characters and the setting and the house and everything in between. Her attention to detail truly reminds me of Toni Morrison's writing in a way. There is very little fluff in the book. Every line, every word had a purpose. I will definitely be rereading this story again, and I wonder in a couple of years, I wonder how my experience will be knowing what I know now of the ending. If you've read this book, let me know what you think about it. And if you haven't, I hope the spoilers didn't deter you too much. And I think I will end here. And this is the part where I ask for you to like and subscribe. I want this channel to serve as a digital diary. There are books I've read, places I've been, experiences that felt really poignant at the time, but feel really hazy now at best. And I want this channel to hold those memories for me. I want to look back, watch this video, and truly remembered what it felt like. Thank you so much for listening, and goodbye. Woo! I did it. I did it. I did it. Okay.